What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. If you've ever managed a team or built a true friendship where the parties involved actually want to see each other grow and be better, you will find this dynamic at the center of your true devotion to each other. That sometime you spur the other person on, you encourage them, you push them to do their best, and be their mirror and cheerleader to bring out the best in them. Other times, you spar, you sharpen each other. You have conflict, difficult conversations, challenging each other to be better. At the heart of any real environment of growth is a battlefield of love. Why is both necessary? To spur someone on is like nutrients for the soul. To encourage someone is to see in them what God intended. To see them fully through the fog of all their humanness. To invite out of them the best in them by treating them as if that best is already present. To be the person they can look to for undying support. To be there in their bad times, or more importantly, in their good times. To truly want the best for someone without filtering it through your own needs and feelings about where that leaves you. To see the other person's wins as your own. To fan their flames as much as possible so that the spark a person may have grows into the blaze that lights up their entire life. To create a safe space for them to explore, to fail, to fall on their face without ever having to question if you would be there to catch them. Spar, on the other hand, takes this a bit further. But you cannot spar with someone you haven't spurred on. You cannot have the type of relationship where sparring doesn't lead to contempt without having done the prerequisite work to build that relationship in the first place. Sparring in sports is usually when two people almost play fight, but there's nothing about it that's fake. You want the other person you are engaged in a spar session with to have to call out and build all the skills that would be required in a real combat situation. But because it's still practice, you both go into it with the understanding that you don't intend to hurt each other. The punches are slightly pulled back. The challenge lands softer. But it can't be too soft. It can't be too simulated, or you cannot train instincts that a person can rely on to save them in the real situation. To spar with someone is to prepare them for battle. It's to introduce enough tension that it actually drives development. Or else you just leave the other person weak and under illusions that they are prepared for when reality hits them in the face. That's not what you want for your team, your friend, family, or anyone you love. You want to spur them, yes. You want to encourage them to no end. But you also don't want them to be high on your supply. You want them to know their pitfalls, the gaps, the places they need to shore up, the blind spots that they have yet to see, and the potholes that they can be prepared to encounter around the bend. Especially if you want the encouragement to be taken deeply. Because unless a person knows, truly knows, that they are seen by you, they will discount the encouragement, the compliments, the inspiration, the belief you have in them. It will all be seen as biased or blind attempt at uplifting because you don't really know them. And it won't affect them as deeply in their core as it really could. For that, the spurring needs the sparring. Now, of course, there's a balance to this. You start off with encouragement, always. If there is genuine encouragement to be had, you don't want to fake it. You celebrate their milestones, their wins, affirm their strengths, give them the space to explore what they are capable of without being judged harshly by you. You make them feel safe to be more than they are today. You catch them when they are good. You encourage the efforts. And over time, and some of the time still, you can bring in the constructive feedback, the honest conversations, the higher expectations. Untimely or too frequent sparring can undo the spurring, the encouragement, and actually can be discouraging and feel suffocating and judgmental, especially in a team where you ultimately want a person to develop autonomy and trust themselves. You want the person to go through the sparring and then have time lapse in which they actually have the opportunity to take what you set into account in the regular course of life and let it make meaningful impact by their own volition. Too much sparring and you erode your foundation. Not enough, and that foundation never had the reinforcement bars to ensure its life. Nothing grounded deep in the core, and it eventually falls apart. To get the best out of anything, you need to have the right balance of friction and flow. And yes, flow before friction, but too much flow and you have no footing. Even my episodes here go back and forth between encouragement and what might leave you with existential dread, because I do this to myself. Now, from a spiritual level, I could tell you that none of what I say to myself or to you is true, that all things are a story of the past and the future, and only what I am in the present moment is what matters. And in that, there is only flow, perfection. Even in the friction, there is flow and perfection. While getting the best out of your spirit might be to unburden yourself from the need of any of this. But our human selves need the encouragement. They need the provocation, the camaraderie, communion, the comfort, and we need the confrontation, conflict, the challenge. The fire in you needs some stoking, and it needs to breathe. Sometimes you poke and prod and provoke and push and prompt. Other times you pacify, play, and pray. The goal of both, though, is to incite, to motivate and stimulate, encourage the best. I love you, family. Stay true always. I see you on the next show.